Welcome back to the sweatshop. In today's video, we're going to be working on this 2010 Subaru Impreza. What we're doing in today's video is we're going to be showing you how to replace the lower ball joint on the front of this wonderful thing on the driver's side corner or the left side of the vehicle. This job here is not an impossible job to do at home. However, if you are in the Rust Belt, this tool will make it a non-impossible job. If you do not have that tool and you are in the Rust Belt, most times you usually end up with a broken spindle or a real headache and a ball joint that will not come out. Believe me, I've been doing this for many years. If you're planning on doing this at home, that tool is actually relatively cheap. Borrow one, buy one. Don't do it without that tool if you're in the Rust Belt. If you're down in the States, in the South, or in any other country where there's no salt or rust to deal with, well, then you don't need that tool. You can save your money and you just blow on the ball joint and it'll fall right out of the goddamn spindle. Nonetheless, you may also need some heat to get rid of the captive bolt that holds the ball joint into the spindle. There are a few other things that I would suggest you get, like this tool here, to separate your wonderful lower control arm from your ball joint. Otherwise, you can do some serious damage with a hammer to your lower control arm. Now, that being said, the rest of the tools you're going to need are just basic hand tools. Other than heat, basic hand tools is really all you need. And those two wonderful specialty tools are a must in my book. You can do it without them with an assortment of air hammer bits and an air hammer and a ginormous headache. Nonetheless, if you are going to do this, like I say, not the most impossible job, but it isn't the easiest either and can be a nightmare. Get yourself a good reputable joint. This is the guy that I recommend, and that is the part number for this particular application. Okay. Other than that, I would not get any sort of serviceable joint. Really, the only joints I put in my cars are the 3.5 joints or the original ball joint by Subaru. I think these guys were the original manufacturer, but I'm not 100% sure. That being said, before we go any farther in today's video, do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you never miss one of my new videos. Yeah, hopefully you watch the full length of video before you start doing the job because, man, you don't want to get caught with your goddamn pants down trying to do this thing and realizing how much of a pain in the ass it can be if you follow along instead of watching the whole video. All right. Oh yeah, if you are crazy enough to do this in your driveway, make sure you use jack stands. Do not crawl around underneath your vehicle without jack stands because, well, that is stupid. Also, doing this in your driveway in the Rust Belt in winter would also suck, which is, yeah, no, that's just, it's stupid. Of course, make sure you use jack stands. Don't crawl around underneath your vehicle without them. Usually doesn't end well. All right, let's go put this thing up in the air. That ugly thing right there is our ball joint. Now, in case you've ever wondered how you check a ball joint, usually it starts by shaking the wheel from the outside back and forth. You can see there, we got a little bit of play. Nothing too spectacular. I don't even know if you can see it on camera, but I can feel it in the joint. The best way to test your wonderful Subaru ball joint is to grab a pry bar, stick it between the control arm and the spindle, and then do that. That there is an excessive amount of play for a ball joint on a Subaru. Usually they're not that bad. So yeah, if you hear any sort of clunking and whatnot on the front end of your vehicle, it is best that you go ahead and check it sooner rather than later. Because if it gets to this point, not impossible on the Subaru to have these things come apart. It is very rare. However, you don't want to find out that it can happen, especially to you. So yeah, get underneath your car, get a pry bar, and test them. Make sure it doesn't do that, and if it does, well, replace the joint. Yeah, so we are going to go ahead, replace this one and the other one on the other side. Go ahead, grab your 19 mil. Now, we got to get this wonderful cotter pin out of there, or at least attempt to. It's not integral to get out. If you can't and it's nice and rusted in there like this one will probably be, we shall leave it in there and it will, well, let me get the ever-living snot kicked out of it by my impact. Yeah, that guy ain't going anywhere. So pull this guy down. Let's give it one more try here. Oh! I was wrong. We're going to get it out. Now, if you can't get it out, no big worry. Just take your Ugga gun and smash your socket over the castle nut. And then just give her, fella. And it'll come out. if you're getting lucky like I am, pull that guy out like so. Come on. Get your 19 mil and now what we want to do before we go any farther is this bolt here. We want to at least attempt to break it free and see what the deal is. So you're going to get yourself a 14 mil. If it's anything other than that, good chance it's been tampered with. Well, 100% chance because it only comes with a 14 mil. So just keep your eye on the bolt size and that'll tell you whether you need to cry or not. Hopefully you don't have a bolt going through it and whatnot. That's not necessarily a problem. Just depends on whoever's fixed it. Anyhow, let's tackle that bolt. Now on the other side here, just where my finger is, you can feel the other end of the bolt as it is through the bore of the hole. What you want to do is as you impact it, you want to impact it slowly to see whether it's actually moving. Oh, thank you, God. So in our case, thank the Lord, this thing is moving. The majority of time in the Rust Belt, it doesn't move. If you don't put your finger there and you can't feel it moving and you go full crackhead on it, most times you end up breaking the bolt. And oh my God, these spindles here they are pretty weak. They're not very strong. And when you try to spread them or to do any sort of work in here, you can easily crack this spindle, especially on the older style ones. These ones are much better than the older stuff from like the early 2000s, which most of you will probably never see. But anyhow, you want to make sure that this thing's spinning. If it isn't, you got to try your best to tap it, you know, heat it up, whatever you got to do to get this thing out of there. And if you are going to heat it up, because if you're watching this and you're in the Rust Belt, make sure you put something in this region here to protect your nice CV boot, because, well, you don't want to cause two problems with one heat source. This is two birds with one stone joke going in my head, but anyhow, yeah, you don't want to melt your CV boot trying to fix one problem and cause yourself another. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes. Oh shit! Nothing. We're not suffering an earthquake there. It's just I tapped the camera in the wrong position. It lost its mind. What you're gonna do now is pull this guy out. Yeah. You want to look at the OE bolt. It's got more than 80% of it there. If you have a new one, chuck it in there. If you don't, this thing is still reusable. All right. My life just got a lot better there, so I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm gonna let that piece of junk compressor shut off and yeah. Get set for the next clip. Now we got to take our wonderful specialty tool here and slide it in between. But I've noticed over the years that if a customer has replaced their joint with an aftermarket joint, it's sometimes a real pain in the ass to get this thing over. Now, of course, because we're replacing the joint, we can destroy it, so not necessarily a problem. However, if you aren't, you're gonna have to get a tool that is slightly longer than this to complete this job. If we can't smash this guy over, we're just gonna fucking, you know. There we go. See, that's all you need to do. Get her in there. We don't really care about the boot, so I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm also not really paying attention to the shaft here. As long as we can get that thing in there, we are happy. Now, this also beating the hell out of the control arm, because usually you'll mushroom the hell out of this here. It's an empty cavity with a plug sort of thing that's welded in here to give it strength, and when you smash the ever-living shit out of it, well, you destroy the paint and all that, and it weakens the structure as well as causes it to rust severely, so I don't suggest doing that. All right, now hammer. Try to get it straight on as best you can. Being a dick right now. Why are you being a dick? God damn it. Alright. And now we'll do the smash. There you go. That's what we want. Exactly that beautiful result makes your life so much better. Now for lowering the control arm, there are specialty tools out there. This is one of the ones that I have. Just stick it on there. It works really well. I'll demonstrate that after. However, you don't need to purchase this guy in order to do this task. Simply, you can go ahead, stick your pry bar in there. The bigger, the better. Makes your life considerably easier. You're gonna come around the back of the control arm like so, stick it in here, and then simply pry down like that. Okay, but you want to make sure it's hooked in there, because exactly what just happened to me may happen to you. It's harder to get it hooked in there when you have such a large pry bar. But it ain't easy to force the goddamn thing down. Oh, you know what? It wasn't that hard this time because it's got a little bit of a cutaway, so thankfully. Anyhow, you can do this, or you can hook this guy on here like so, stick a pry bar through here, and then leverage against this. Either one is fine. I've already done this, so I'm gonna demonstrate the regular way that I usually do it. Now, once you get this stupid thing separated, all you're gonna do is you're gonna place your suspension, or this piece here, either forward or back in terms of the position here, so that it doesn't line up and engage. Once again, there's that piece of shit compressor, not even 5 minutes later. Whatever you do, do not get your hand between the ball joint and your wonderful control arm, because that will be the end of your finger. Now let's let that piece of shit shut off so I can edit in peace later. Now what you need is to work in peace, and let me tell you, the pressure of all this suspension junk over here is not going to help you with that. So you need to use a little bit of persuasion. Usually, for most people, including myself, it's usually in the form of a piece of wood. However, being a mechanic, we usually have a whole bunch of these guys kicking around with these little nice attachments welded straight to them, not that stupid little hook. So what I like to do is simply do this. That's it. Okay. That's that. We're good to go. That guy's gonna hold in there. You can't obviously impact, you know, with a hammer or anything like that, because you don't want this shit falling out. However, it's gonna hold itself there. You know, just make sure it's braced nice and properly and good to go. You got your space. Also, make sure the CV doesn't come out. I'll show you what I mean. Now, another thing you want to make sure you don't do is just yank the spindle, this whole assembly, away from the car violently in order to work on this stupid thing, because you're going to yank the other end of the CV shaft out, and it can be a pain in the ass. And if you really are freakishly strong, you can also rip the CV booth apart by just yanking on it. It's not hard in terms of strength, but if you don't realize what you're doing, I mean, come on, guy, maybe put the tools down. Anyhow, all we got to do now is get our wonderful tool and slip it over this thing and yank it out. You guys are going to be amazed how easy this comes out. And if you want a comparison, I have videos in the past where I didn't have my tool, or where I've lent it out and I had to do it the old-fashioned way with an air hammer. Not fun. 3 times the amount of time. Craziness. Just ridiculous. Anyhow, this tool here, I will definitely say, is one of the tools that definitely gets me excited to use it, because it makes your job so much easier. And in case you're wondering, that is the product code. I do not have a link, and hopefully sometime in the future I will, so check the bio in case there is. And if there isn't, well, I do have a Patreon, so if my wonderful words are worth anything to you, show some support. And you know, you don't have to. I'm not asking you to, just saying. Times are tough, and they're tough for everybody, so it sucks. But anyhow, I'm gonna probably shove that in the bloopers. Anyhow, subscribing and just watching the videos, I really do appreciate it, because the amount of effort that goes into actually doing these style of videos, where it's not just, you know, those stupid 6-second videos now, or 60-second videos that are some idiot just ripping a nail out, not really doing anything. Like, God, those videos are whatever. Anyhow, yeah, so let's go ahead now, thread this thing into place. Make sure you go and support Astro by buying this tool. Definitely worth its weight in gold. I'm gonna thread this guy up as much as you can. Okay, I'm holding the shaft of the joint right now. It seems to have bottomed out. Now we're gonna slide that guy over. And listen, don't be too nice to the boot. If he's not cooperating, kill him. Just end its life. Shove that thing over it. Come on. Yeah, no, fuck. Usually I wouldn't care, but I have a Kubota that actually needs a boot, so I'm trying to save this guy and reuse it. Because, well, Kubota and tractor machinery and stuff like that is goddamn expensive. And farmers, those people who grow our food, they have to pay these ridiculous pricings for parts on some of these things. Insanity. I'll tell you. Holy shit, man. Couldn't believe some of the pricing. Just for a small Kubota lawn tractor, the tie rod was like 150 bucks. That's a bit excessive there, guy. Okay? I understand maybe it's not as mass produced. I don't know. You know, maybe that's the excuse they're going for, but that's kind of crazy there, guy. Anyhow, you don't have to wait on the boot. Just put your 24 mil on this thing and fire. Now I'm gonna line it up so you see how easily this thing comes out. Prepare to be amazed. I try to do my best Jeremy Clarkson there, but I don't smoke or drink excessively, so you know, I just don't have that raspiness. All right, fire! Like, dude, it's usually never that easy, but today I am quite thankful. This is fucking brilliant. Anyhow, force that guy out of there like so. Gonna loosen this guy up. Oh man, this is beautiful. Yeah, there's a smile on Jimmy's face today, buddy. I'll tell you. Just thread her off, take that guy back out and attach it to the tool. Right there. Yeah, I got so happy right now. I can't remember to do my fucking job. Oh, come on. I did all that work to try and save it, and this fucking booth's bad anyhow. Son of a bitch. Anyhow, the ball joint's out. I'm gonna go do the other side, and then we'll show you how to clean up that hole. Get yourself a carbide bit and a few other wonderful tools that, well, most of you probably won't have, but sandpaper will do the trick. I shall be back. Okay. First thing you want to do is clean up this hole here. You want to make sure that you can slide your wonderful new bolt or used bolt back in there without it having any sort of hindrance. Oh, we're not going to be able to get in there like that. Let's loosen up some tension there on our jack. Let's keep it there. I don't want it to fall out, you know. You know what I mean? All right, mate. Sneak this guy in there. There we go. I might be, there we go. Now, we're not trying to go all the way through. We're just trying to clear out the rust that's in that section there. Do not go and hit this section. This is threaded. If you screw that up, oh buddy, no good. Your next step is gonna be to grab a M10 by 1.25 tap, and you're gonna tap this hole. Just make sure she is nice and dirt and rust free to receive the wonderful bolt that you place back in it. Okay, do you have to do the whole thing? No, not necessarily. Just the open section here where it rots to hell. Okay. That should be good enough there. Then we'll move to the nice basket or hole. All right. Now, let's clean up the hole. First, we'll start off with the mating surface here. Just grab a flat disc, and remember, ear, eye, and nose protection. It is key to the longevity of one's health. Try not to hit the camera. Now, you're gonna get a carbide bit that will allow you to take the rust out of the hole very easily. Just remember, this thing loves to remove material really quickly, so be very careful with it, yeah? Now, what I'm doing there essentially is I'm not grinding on the sides here. Only if there is a little bit of material, we will hit it. But essentially, you're trying to get the lip that forms up in the top of this cavity. That guy there, when you're pulling it out, can let these little rusty clumps sort of get stuck on the side. And then when you're pushing in the new joint, it doesn't sit properly. And you can get atrocious sounds when you go over a bump and the bowl joint starts to rock because it's not sitting properly. That's why it's integral to clean out that hole. Now, to clean up the sides, what you're gonna do is get a 120 grit drum or one of these guys here. I can't remember what the hell they're called. Like, just fucking anyhow. You know, you get what I'm saying. Just grind the goddamn hole out. What you want to do essentially is, as you clean it, periodically take your new joint, see if it fits all the way in there comfortably without any sort of hindrance. You can see there, we still have something up in here that's kind of binding it. If it's a little bit snug, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. But what we have is a bit of, well, pain in the ass somewhere up in there. So let's do some more grinding. Now let's give it another shot. There you go. She sits in there nicely. You know, that's exactly what you want. Now, I'm gonna blow it all out, give it a nice layer of paint so it doesn't rot to shit because we breathe on it. And yay, happy. Of course, you just put all that hard work in, so go ahead now and give yourself some insurance. Take some zinc well-through primer. This stuff works really well. It dries really quickly as well. And just give it a nice spray. You know, get it all up in there because you don't want to miss some of the rust. All right, there we go. Give it a little bit inside there too. There we go. All right, wonder fucking Fally guy. Now, with all that wonderful cleaning that just took place, don't be an idiot. Make sure you clean the hell out of this thing and then anti-seize the hell out of it and shove it in the hole. Okay. Make sure you lather this thing up with some grease so that it doesn't rot to shit. And then you're gonna go ahead, take this guy here, anti-seize him. You're gonna shove this guy in the hole. Now when you shove it in the hole, you'll notice that this guy has a hole in it. Make sure it is front to back because that just makes your life easier. You're gonna slide this bolt in. Make sure you thread it up by hand initially. As you tighten, you are going to push the joint up into the spindle and then there you go. As long as it can't rotate, you don't need to tighten anymore. And then you can go ahead and put it back into position. Get your big pry bar and get ready to struggle. Now I'm going to try and capture this, showing you how the joint will go in, or you put it in, bend it like so that it falls into the hole. Okay, set your pry bar in an accessible place, support the joint or the spindle as you pull the jack out. Make sure it butts up against it nice and gently. You do not want to tear your boot. Stick your pry bar in, separate the joint again, of course, and slide her home, like so. And that's that. One side installed, let's go do the other. Grab your torque wrench, set it to 37 foot-pounds or 50 newton meters. Take your castle nut now and thread it up. Set your torque wrench to 29 foot-pounds or 39 newton meters. Now what you got to do is make sure your hole is lined up. If it isn't, you're going to go just a bit more. We're almost there. Now, whenever going a bit more, you do not want to exceed more than 60 degrees. Otherwise, you will screw your stuff up. Most times you'll strip that bowl joint nut or thread, which is not good. Now, take your cotter pin and slide it through. You can try and bend this by hand, but usually it ends up just hurting my hand. So, yeah, get your vice grip and there you go. Okay. Like I say, not an impossible job, but if you don't have the right tools, oh my god. All right, gather some strength. You're now gonna throw your stupid wheel back on the car. Oh man, thank God they're making these things smaller as time goes by. In case you're confused, that was sarcasm, they're not. Thread these guys up by hand. Now push your wheel into the hub and fire. A thumbs up for me and a you. Grab your torque wrench, set it to 75 foot-pounds or 102 newton meters. Jimmy spec is 100 foot-pounds or 135 newton meters. Make sure you get the right spec for your vehicle. We are good to go. Well, that's all she wrote for this one. All you got to do now is take the thing for a test drive, make sure there are no issues that tissues just won't solve, and you are good to go. Hopefully you found the video entertaining as well as insightful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss one of my new videos. And as always, thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one. What we're doing in today's video is, of course, we're going to be doing, I don't know what the fuck I said there. What we're doing no, let's center this shit up again, guy. You know, fucking make it kind of pretty, you know. And you know, a lot of it. But hey, when you ain't got any money because the dictator in Ottawa is stealing it all, you gotta do what you gotta do. That ugly little thing right there. Why are you fucking moving around? Are you retarded, camera? Luckily, the other side itself is not bad, but the customer has requested that we do both of them. So, hey, I'm just a monkey in a monkey suit who takes orders from another fellow monkey. That is a reference to you, Lincoln. I would like a picture with your ear sticking out so I can post you in the video. Otherwise, I'll just put up a picture of a generic monkey. Yeah, baby. Alright, why the fuck does that look weird like that? Anyhow, says the right dimensions. Okay, let's do some more grinding. What the fuck was that, guy? You just fall out of you lose a ball, motherfucker? No? What the fuck are those guys doing over there? Now I'm going to try and set your torque wrench to 29 foot-pounds or 30. Oh, what the fuck is it? Motherfucker. What the fuck's your problem, guy? This guy here on the high end was set to. What the fuck am I saying? Peace!